Hello friends, welcome to this video. Today I'm doing something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, which is redraw some of the covers of the Wings of Fire books. But I haven't done it because I couldn't really decide which book to do. And now I've decided. So I started reading these books this year a few months ago, and I read the whole first series. I got halfway through the second series, and then I kind of just took a break for a while. I mean, I do that sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. For some reason with Wings of Fire books, I just peter out around book 4, like always. But anyway, I finished series 2 and then I read straight through series 3 just a few weeks ago. And only then was I able to decide which book cover to draw because I really liked this one. I mean, series 1 was really good. I really liked book 1 and book 3 of that series, but I've drawn Glory recently and like I have ideas for redrawing Clay's book cover, but I just haven't really been super inspired to do it. But then when I got to series 3 and I realized how much I liked it, I was like, oh, I know which book to draw. So I'm not really sure how popular this opinion is, but I really thought that the third series was the best series of all the Wings of Fire books, like easily. And yeah, I haven't been looking at stuff because I didn't want anything spoiled, but now that I have read these books, maybe I can like look at some reviews or something. And also, you should definitely comment how much you liked these books versus the other ones, because I want to know, like, is this like a common opinion or do I have like unique taste? I don't know. Anyway, I figured during this speed paint, I might as well just talk about how much I liked this book and why I liked it, because talking about books is fun. I will warn you, this video will contain spoilers for all of the books in this arc of this series, because one of the best things that this arc does is keep things hidden from the reader. Like, there are some major twists in this arc and it's awesome. And I don't think I can talk about how good this arc is without revealing the twists. So I'm sorry. If you don't want spoilers, watch the video muted or click off. It's totally fine. I won't even know. Feel free. Anyway, book 11 was my favorite book out of all 15. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for like first books of each arc. I just really like the first book no matter which arc we're talking about. I mean, you can't deny that the world of Pantala is crazy and the society is super interesting. I wasn't even 100% sure if I wanted to read Arc 3 because it's like a different continent, and I don't know, I just felt like the story was over. There are air quotes around that. I mean, until you get to the epilogue of book 10, but still. And then I read the description, and like as soon as I saw assigned a partner and a work order, I'm like, ooh, this is like, there's some type of rebellion that's gonna happen. And I know I love books about like a rebellion. I mean, if you've watched my Tribe Gen videos, I love rebellion. It's just how I am. And so I was like, oh, okay, it sounds like it's gonna be cool. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad I read these. Because this arc like is about rebellion, right? But then there's this whole other level to it once you get to the plant thing. And oh my gosh, it blew my mind. It was a twist that I didn't see coming at all. I know I said I was going to talk about book 11, but I have to say, this is why I love this arc so much, is because of the plant twist. And then bringing in the whole, like, before the scorching and the humans, and it just, like, everything ties together in these books, and I really love them. I know in my last review, I complained about the twists being either too obvious or, like, too sudden, but with these books, it just, at least for me and for my own personal taste, it just hit the nail on the head with how foreshadowed and also sudden the plant twist was. Like, the end of book 13 is like, I mean, oh my gosh. I think my jaw like literally dropped while I was reading it. I think I was in the car at the time, not driving, riding in the car. Anyway, it just, I told you, I read it a couple weeks ago and it still makes me like giddy with how awesome that reveal was and how much adrenaline I get when I think of that part in the book. I'm such a nerd, oh my gosh. I don't know, maybe people think the plant twist is, like, too weird for these books and these, like, series because it's, like, a kid's series, but, oh, I loved it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I really had to get that off my chest, that I loved the plant twist. I need to stop saying that because it's losing meaning for me, but needed to get that out so that I could actually talk about this book, because even though there was no plant twist in this book, this was my favorite book of this arc. And I think it really just mostly comes down to the character growth of Blue. At first, I totally thought I wasn't gonna like him, but he's just so genuinely nice that I had to. I mean, it's Blue. Again, I was like reading the second half of arc 2, and then this was the next series. This was like the next book. And I know that there's some character development, especially in the early books of that series, but I don't know, I love Keebly. I think he's the coolest character in arc 2, but he didn't have a lot of character development for me, in my opinion, because he was just cool the whole time. But then to go from that to Blue's character arc, where he like learns to stand up for himself and that people don't always have good intentions and you have to like fight for yourself. I don't know. And he like turned into such a brave little guy. He will just always be my favorite from this arc. I think another thing that made this arc really good was that almost all the characters went through a lot of character development. Cricket, I mean, she was super cool the whole time, kind of like Keebly, but am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. I still really liked her book because it was like figuring out this mystery and also just really high stakes overall. And I just like her personality too. But yeah, I think Luna didn't have a ton of character development in her book, but that book was still crazy, so it kind of gets a pass. And I mentioned this in my original review as well of like the first arc, but these books are dark for being for 9 to 12-year-olds. Can you imagine like a baby being trapped with an antagonistic spirit for thousands of years, and she's like never known love and never known companionship, and it's like it's pretty heartbreaking, honestly. I don't know if I could have read that as a 9-year-old and been okay. I just realized that I need to change my thumbnail because, okay, I'll show you the original one right here. And then the new one is like a cheeky little nod to the plot line. I'm proud of myself, if you can't tell. Anyway, character development, very nice in these books. And honestly, it's why I can give book 4 a pass. Even though it doesn't seem like the plot is pushing along in book 4, it's like the character development I like character development, okay? Also, the Jerboa thing blew my mind as well. Like, that is also so dark. How are these books for 9-year-olds? Although I do have to say the magic not working is a bit of a cop-out, but it's the way that it is explained is like, I mean, like, it's a little too fast for my liking. It would have been cool if it were revealed slowly over time, but that's nitpicking because the reason why the magic doesn't work is a good reason and I like it. So this is why I don't review things, is because I have biases. So I'm like, okay, magic not being around anymore is a cop out, but it's okay because the story of why it doesn't work anymore is a good story. Another reason why I liked this arc, which maybe isn't a good reason, that also has air quotes around it, is because the stakes are really high in these ones. It's not just war, it's not just Darkstalker. I mean, Darkstalker's scary, but like, I don't know. I wasn't really scared of him. Like, maybe a little, but the like main crux of this arc and the plant like literally taking over everyone's mind and the world, and it's crazy, is like the highest stakes ever. So it's really interesting because if you think about it, the first series is kind of, the theme is like these dragons are gonna save the world, but not the world, just like the one continent that I know I can't pronounce. So, but then these books are the books where they actually save the world. So, cutting the rambling short, these books are really high stakes and it makes me like them. Like, I legitimately felt like I had adrenaline when I was reading these, and I love that in books. I also like, I mean, you know that the heroes are gonna win, but at the same time, because the stakes were so high in these books, it was like I didn't know if they were gonna win. I mean, especially because I thought that they were gonna win back in book 13, so that didn't happen. So because of that, I was like more on the edge of my seat with what was gonna happen. I don't know. I'm actually really interested to hear your opinion on this because to I just liked this arc so much better than the other ones. It could be because it's the most recent arc that I've read, and I personally have not the best memory in the world, so maybe I just don't remember how much I liked the other arcs. But yeah, for me, this one is like far and above the best, and I really wonder how popular of an opinion that is. Like, and of course, feel free to disagree with me. Like, I want to know because I know I'm not like a serious book reviewer. I just enjoy books, and honestly, I'm pretty easy. Like, I consider myself pretty easily impressed as long as the writing is like half decent. And I also know I get biased when stakes are high, when there's character development, and I'll like forgive some things if I like other things about the books. So I'm not really made to be like this objective reviewer, so I am interested to hear more opinions other than mine, which I know is, yeah, it's just when it comes to books, I'm not like objectively reviewing things. I really go off of how excited I am to read the book, how on the edge of my seat I am, how much I like the characters and their character development and stuff like that. So that was a really long way of saying just tell me what you think, but that's how my brain works. I guess now that the art is like almost over, I'll talk about the art, which I ended up being like okay with, but it's not my favorite piece that I've ever done. Anyway, I had like all these high and mighty plans for this book cover, and I think it turned out pretty okay, but at the same time, I could rework it and it would be better. I think actually what threw me off is how colorful everything is. I chose to paint blue because he's like, his colors are super pretty, and he has these like morpho butterfly wings, which if you haven't seen these butterflies, they're insane. Their wings are neon blue, iridescent. I'll throw up a picture. Super, super cool. And he's like, I mean, described by Cricket as being really beautiful, but Cricket's biased, so I don't know. I think his description sounds like he's a very colorful and wonderful looking dragon, so I was excited to draw him because he was colorful, but then because of how colorful he is, I think it kind of made it hard to make certain decisions about like lighting and composition. But in the end, I think it turned out all right. I'd love your opinions on this as well. Maybe if the background weren't as colorful, but that seems like a cop out on my part because the cover's supposed to be colorful. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about this art, what you think I could do better about it, because it's like there's something that could be done better, but I just had to stop. Like maybe in a week I'll figure it out, but right now it's just like, oh, this is okay. But yeah, what do you think about the art and also about arc 3? Because again, talking about books is fun, especially if you're talking about books with other people. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It seems very all over the place to me now that I'm thinking about it. but hopefully that means it's interesting. I I just I told you I really wanted to talk about this book and how much I liked it and how much I like this arc, so rambling done. All I have left to say is thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.